Krishna Shakti Swami es maestro, escritor, viajero, discípulo de su divina gracia, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Ha servido como misionero, sacerdote, practicante de Bhakti Yoga desde 1972. Estuvo basado en Alemania, en Países Bajos de Dinamarca. Luego comenzó, perdón, tengo acá todo escrito. Ay, perdón, estoy media trabada hoy. Comenzó a participar de actividades misioneras en Europa Central desde 1978 hasta 1995. Visitó India en peregrinación. En 1995, como un coordinador de un grupo de investigación, compiló y publicó el Pancharatra Pradya en 2 volúmenes, un manual para la adoración del templo de Chaitanya Vaishnava. También sirvió como GBC de ISKCON, como ministro de adoración de la deidad desde hasta el 2005. En 2004, después de 8 años de estudios universitarios, recibió un doctorado, un PhD, de la Universidad de Oxford, y su disertación fue sobre la adoración de imágenes de Chaitanya Vaishnava. Ahora es disponible de una publicación de Routed Publishers. El Chaitanya Vaishnava Murti Seva como una verdad devocional. Krishna Kshetra ahora es investigador del Centro de Estudios de Oxford. También enseña en el Bhaktivedanta College de Radhadesh y reiteradamente enseñó cursos de estudios sobre religiones de la India, religiones asiáticas, Departamento de la Religión de la Universidad de Florida, Gainesville, y también en la Universidad de China de Hong Kong, cursos de religión y culturas de la India. En medio del trabajo académico también viaja extensamente enseñando sobre la vida espiritual, como se comprende en la tradición devocional Vaishnava Bhakti. Proviene de Chaitanya. En estos países ha enseñado y aconsejado a personas de Argentina, Australia, Austria, Bélgica, Bosnia, Bulgaria, China, Chile, Croacia, Dinamarca, Finlandia, Francia, Grecia, Hungría, India, Indonesia, Italia, Malasia, Nueva Zelanda. Me quedo corta, pero siguen más. Y también tiene el libro, que acá lo estamos hablando hoy, que es el libro sobre las vacas y la tradición. Bueno, el nombre no lo estoy diciendo bien, pero ya lo voy a leer mejor. Es el libro El cuidado de las vacas en la ética animal hindú. Bueno, gracias a todos por estar presentes y gracias a usted por toda su paciencia y su ilimitada misericordia por estar con nosotros. Agradecemos mucho.
Shall I begin?
Sí, please.
Okay. So, muchísimas gracias, Gandhini Devi Dasi, for your kind invitation and your introduction. As I understand, we will, yes, the translation will be simultaneous. I will try to not speak too quickly, but if I'm going too fast, maybe Krishna Shakti, you can wave your hand and say, slow down. So I'm happy to be here with you all. It's almost as good as being in Argentina. It's the next best thing to being in Argentina. And yes, thank you all for joining. Some of you are not in Argentina. I know we have some of you in other countries, including Poland, Hong Kong, and where else?
Dubai.
So,
We have a
Dubai?
Maria from Dubai who met you already.
Okay. All right. So our topic is the subject of this book that I recently published. Well, not so recently. Now it's almost 3 years since it came out. Cow Care in Hindu Animal Ethics. And I should explain a little bit the title. The book is within a particular book series published by this publisher. And so the book series is on animal ethics. That's the theme of the series. And I was asked to write a book on Hindu animal ethics by the editor of the series. So I suggested if I focus on cows, and he liked the idea. So that's to explain the word Hindu. I'm not personally... Okay. I'm not so personally keen to talk about Hinduism and animal ethics. I'm much more interested in broader
Krishna Shakti está...
animal ethics in general.
One second, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Krishna Shakti está silenciada. Ahora.
Yeah, okay. So I was saying I'm not so keen personally to be focused on Hindu animal ethics as such, but more simply on the subject of animal ethics, or we may want to say even more broadly, ethics, because I think how we treat animals should be thought of as an integral subject of ethics in general. Maybe we could even say it's a foundational subject of ethics. How should human beings act? Well, they should, first of all, minimize their harm to other living beings in general. Why just human beings? So I think that's a simple, straightforward principle that we understand from the, broadly speaking, Indian traditions, not just Vedic, but also from the Buddhist tradition and the Jain tradition and the Sikh tradition. All of these, I think, are sharing this idea, which is sort of encapsulated in the word ahimsa. But okay, our subject is cow care. I like the expression cow care rather than cow protection. Although the Bhagavad Gita does speak specifically of go raksha, raksha meaning protection. I just like cow care as maybe a more positive expression. And the subject or the question naturally arises for for lots of people, so, okay, animals, all sentient beings, yes, let them be protected, or let them be not harmed unnecessarily. Why cows? What's so special about cows? And that's much of what I'm discussing in this book. And so there's a kind of tension there, that on the one side, it's not just about cows, it's about all sentient beings. But yes, we are focusing on cows for a lot of reasons. And the more I speak in one of the chapters on two sorts of benefits that human beings get from cows. Because the natural question, being the way we are as human beings, we're asking ourselves, what's the benefit for me? What's so good about caring for cows? What do I get out of it? So I discuss in, I think it's chapter 4, what I call tangible benefits and intangible benefits. And in a way, it's the intangible benefits that are the most important, or which are, we might want to say, inclusive of the tangible benefits. Tangible benefits, we think of immediately of the products, so-called products of cows. So we may think of milk, but we may also think of the traction power of oxen, of bulls, and then from both female and male bovines, cows, there are the dung and the urine are both highly beneficial for nourishing the soil in particular, but they are considered to be also very valuable in a variety of medicines and cosmetics and cleaning agents and so on. I might say, just as a footnote to the benefits to human beings of cow dung in medicine, it can be also said that better than taking medicine with cow dung, cow urine, is to eat food which has been grown in soil which has been nourished with cow dung and cow urine. In other words, start at the source. If you take the vegetables and fruits and nuts and grains from soil which has been so nourished, then you may not need the medicine because you are eating in a healthy way. So the tangible benefits we are concerned about, but there are intangible benefits, and the intangible benefits, I would say, are broadly speaking encapsulated in the term dharma. And this is the idea we get in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto. I think all of you here listening are very familiar with the story in the first canto, where the cow and the bull are being abused, severely abused by the personification of Kali. The legs of the bull are being wounded, and the legs are representative of principles of Dharma. So the inverse of that would be, of course, that the cow and the bull are cared for, and when they are cared for, Dharma is the byproduct of that, the intangible result of that is that Dharma is maintained, it is sustained, it flourishes in human society. And the mechanics of that, the details of what is the connection, why cows again, it comes in on one level, we can understand it from a ritual perspective. From cow milk, you can produce ghee, clarified butter. And what do you do with clarified butter? Well, you can offer it in a ritual fire. And you can also cook with it. But the ritual fire, the yajna, the sacrifice, is understood from the Vedic and the post-Vedic literature is a process of both individual and collective maintenance of balance. Collective in the broadest sense, even cosmic balance. It's a process of sort of reassembling the elements of nature which are tending toward dissolution, and it's putting human beings in their right location in relation to nature, in relation to the cosmos, in relation to other living beings. Am I going too fast? Krishna Shaktiman, I'm doing okay. Yeah. Okay, so I've written this book. I'm not sure how much I should say about it, and how much maybe sooner rather than later. I should just see if there are questions, and then we can go into some specifics. And I should mention that this book is in process of being translated into Espanol. And we're hoping that will come out sooner rather than later, but I think it's too soon to say yet just how soon. The good news there is that because this book is under open access contract, it's available in English for free download. But not only that, because it's on this contract, the publisher gives complete freedom to publish the book in other languages. In other words, normally one would have to pay the company for each each additional language to be published by some other publishers. In this case, they told me, no problem, you go ahead and do as you wish. So, so once the Spanish translation is completed, then hopefully we can find a nice publisher for it and make it available for everyone in the Spanish-speaking world. And probably then it would be the right time for me to speak to you on this subject. Yeah.
Yes, many people here don't know nothing about the book because they don't have access to it. Yeah, that's basically.
Right. Yeah.
You can tell us as much as you like.
and they may not feel so motivated to understand because, well, we don't have the book in our language, what to do. Yeah, so anyway, there's hope to have it available at some point. So that's a very short introduction. I'm inclined to kind of already pause at least and see if there's any question that might give us a little focus. Otherwise, I may just be rambling. Oh, here is, I see, Yamuna Jivan Prabhu.
One second. So now
Yes.
for the questions, in general, they make it in Spanish, and we need to be translated in English. And so can we do from this part, maybe they speak, then translate, and then like going back and forth instead of simultaneously? Will that work for you?
It's okay for me. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to cut off the simultaneous translation so that we can do part by part, because it's otherwise very complex.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to... Okay. Yamuna Chiva, puedes hacer la pregunta en español y despacio, así Krishna Shakti puede traducirla.
Bueno, sí, mi pregunta es, Krishna Swami habló del budismo y también hubo otros momentos históricos como la cultura Gupta en India, y yo quería saber si en esos momentos tantos históricos o del tiempo de Buda o las enseñanzas de Buda también había una...
un momento, por favor.
Sí.
You, Krishna Kshetra Swami, you spoke about Buddhism, and the question is about this historical, if there were other historical moments. Yes, por favor, sigan.
Sí, entonces, si en todos esos momentos históricos y de la enseñanza de Buda también, en esos casos existía una distinción hacia la vaca más que hacia otros animales, o especialmente hacia la vaca, y especialmente que a otros animales. ¿Y por qué?
Were there any distinctions at those times or those different cultures, as you mentioned, Buddhism and other cultures, that between the cows and other animals? In other words, were the cow as elevated in those cultures as she is elevated in Indian culture, or were the cows and the other animals at the same level? See, okay.
Well, my focus was on, in this book, is on the Indian side of things, and more specifically the Vedic.
Mi foco en este libro es más en el lado de la India, específicamente la cultura védica.
And this means starting with Rig Veda, and Rig Veda has many, many references to cows. It's been counted some 700 times, different words for
significa,
cows.
sorry.
Go
Significa
ahead.
que en escrituras como el Rig Veda y otros Vedas, las vacas han sido citadas como que más de 700,000 veces. Yes.
There are also many references to horses and some to other animals, but it seems the majority references are to cows.
Hay muchas referencias de otros animales como los caballos y otros animales, pero la mayor parte de las referencias citadas en las escrituras son de las vacas.
And typically in the Rig Veda, the references to cows are in the context of wealth. So a person, a sign of wealth is to be an owner of cows.
Típicamente en el Rig Veda, un señal de riqueza es conectado con el número de vacas que tiene una persona. Entonces la persona es rica si tiene muchas vacas.
But there are, in a sense, there are two kinds of cows in the Rig Veda. There's literal cows and there are poetic or non-literal cows.
Pero hay dos tipos de vacas en el Rig Veda. Las vacas literalmente y las vacas poéticas. O sea, no son vacas literalmente.
And the poetic cows are also indicating or symbolizing well-being and wealth and fecundity, you know that word?
Y las vacas también están simbolizando bienestar, well-being, ¿qué más? Bienestar, riqueza y ¿qué más? And what else did you say, Maharaj? Well-being and what?
Fecundity, that means wealth, nourishment, growth, reproduction, all the things that are desirable.
Riqueza, reproducción, bienestar, salud, todas las cosas que son deseables.
Yeah, so, and the Rig Veda is highly poetic literature, and it's extremely rich in its expressions, and among these many rich expressions, cows are frequently referred to, or the products of cows, especially milk.
Los Rig Vedas son muy poéticos, es una literatura muy poética y generalmente las vacas son referidas como las vacas y los productos de las vacas, como el leche, todo eso, como de una forma muy poética y inspiradora y así.
Excuse me, in the Buddhist tradition, famously, there are the stone edicts of the Emperor Ashoka.
En la tradición budista hay una piedra famosa en la tradición Ashoka que se llama edicts.
Edicts were laws which he proclaimed and were inscribed in stone in different parts of India in his kingdom.
Es una, cuando se refiere a esa piedra, son leyes y tradiciones que fueron escritas inscritas, ¿no? En piedras hace muchos años en la tradición budista.
And these inscriptions are giving orders of what animals can and cannot be killed for food.
Y esas inscripciones están dando órdenes de cuáles son los animales que pueden y cuáles no pueden ser muertos para ser utilizados como alimento.
And for us, perhaps strange is that there is no mention in these rules. There's no mention of cows either, that they should not be eaten or that they should be.
Para nuestra sorpresa, no hay ninguna mención en estas inscripciones que las vacas deben de ser utilizadas como alimento o que no deben de ser utilizadas como alimento. No hay nada sobre eso.
Regarding the Jain tradition, I'm not familiar with their early literature. I can only say that there are today goshalas that are maintained by Jains.
Con relación a la tradición de los Jains, no sé exactamente cómo siguen, pero hay obviamente goshalas que son mantidas por ellos, por los Jains.
It is, in terms of history, the modern history is that particularly in the late 19th century, there develops a cow protection movement, especially in North India.
En el final del siglo XIX, desarrollaron la protección a las vacas, especialmente, oh gosh, too long, sorry.
Quería preguntar si cuando dice Jains se refiere al jainismo.
Sí. Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah, I maybe I should repeat. In the late 19th century, the cow protection movement, as it came to be called, came into being in India.
El movimiento de la protección a las vacas empezó en la India en el final del siglo XIX. Gracias, Maharaj.
And so what we see today in India, the activism for cows, cow protection, is mainly growing, or you can say a continuation of that movement that started in the late 19th century.
Lo que vemos hoy día en la India es básicamente el crecimiento del mismo movimiento que empezó en el siglo XIX en la India.
However, I would disagree with some historians will say that before this movement, we don't see any special concern for cows. And I would say that is not accurate.
Yo no estoy de acuerdo con algunos historiadores que dicen que antes de este movimiento no había protección a las vacas antes del siglo XIX. Eso no es verdad. Yo no estoy de acuerdo con esa afirmación.
There is quite a substantial section in the Mahabharata, in the Shanti Parvan, in which Bhishma Dev is speaking about cows.
Hay una sesión en el Shantipava de Mahabharata donde Bhishma Deva está hablando de las vacas.
And he speaks very strongly about the importance of cows, about the value of caring for cows, and about the benefits of giving cows in charity.
Y él habla muy fuerte del beneficio de donar vacas en caridad, del beneficio de cuidar de las vacas y el beneficio de proteger las vacas.
Proteger. Giving in charity. So that's a very, very brief sketch. And there have been, there's also, some scholars have studied the history of the notion of ahimsa in India.
Algunos scholars, algunos estudiosos han estudiado la importancia de ahimsa en la India y su historia.
And how it grows out of the protest against the sacrifice of animals in ritual sacrifices.
Y cómo eso creció desde los protestos en contra de los rituales de sacrificios de animales.
And we know about this from discussions, Srila Prabhupada explaining Buddhism as being rooted in this protest.
Y sabemos de discusiones donde Srila Prabhupada explica que el budismo nació desde estos protestos en contra de los sacrificios de los animales.
Can I jump in there and ask you, you said the Buddhists didn't have in those scripts, nothing about the cows. It could be because there was not even imagined that they could even consider eating a cow. So what is the point of mentioning, Like, we're not thinking we're eating human, so we are not putting the scriptures, not eat humans, because nobody should consider eating a human, So I wonder if it has something to do with that. Well, I can translate. So pregunto que en las escrituras que tenían los budas que no se menciona la vaca, si era porque no consideraban ni siquiera la posibilidad de que coman vacas, como nosotros no consideramos la posibilidad de comer un humano, no pondríamos escrito, no se deben comer humanos porque no es una posibilidad. Entonces le pregunto si esa es la posible explicación de por qué no se mencionaban las vacas.
It's possible, but there's no way to, you cannot really strongly argue for that because there's an absence of evidence is not evidence for absence, as they say.
Es posible, pero no es posible hacer un argumento usando eso porque la ausencia de evidencia no significa que es una evidencia en sí misma.
Gracias.
And I would say it's a bit unlikely, although within perhaps even large portions of the population, there would not have been killing of cows, maybe. Still, it's really hard to imagine that there would not be anyone killing cows, and therefore no need to say something about it.
Pero yo me imagino que aunque probablemente la mayor parte de la población no comía vaca, pero no es posible que nadie las mataba y las comía. Entonces no creo que eso sería un argumento posible, porque probablemente habría personas que practicaban eso.
I have
And
another.
there are also Shastric prescriptions for sacrifice of cow. There are certain animals. One of them is cow. One is horse, goat, sheep, and there's even some prescription for human sacrifice, although there's a debate whether it was ever done.
Hay prescripciones médicas que administran el sacrificio y orientan el sacrificio de diferentes animales, como la oveja, el bode, y diferentes,
el caballo.
El caballo, y quizá, y también humanos. Aunque no hemos tenido ningún sacrificio de humanos, no se sabe de estos sacrificios, pero hay prescripciones médicas sobre eso.
Y la vaca también dijo que, o sea, había prescripciones incluyendo la vaca también.
But we do have a suggestion of human sacrifice in 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, when the attempt is made to offer Jadabharata to Kali.
Pero hay un evento de sacrificio humano cuando hay una tentativa de ofrecer Jadabharat a la diosa Kali en el quinto canto.
Yes, Gandhini, Devi, you wanted to ask again.
Yeah, so you're talking about the way to relate to caring of the cows for our daily lives, especially in Argentina, the hellish part of the world for cows, and for many of us who live here. But also, so sometimes some of the examples seem like so far away from where we are, like growing the earth with the plants and the cow dung, and we are so far from all that. So I was thinking, since you also talk about ahimsa, can we talk about the relation between cow care and aggression in societies and so on and so forth? Can there be done some correlations with that, or not really?
Sí.
No, me olvido, I forgot. So I was saying that he talked about, él dijo que decía que cómo nos conectamos nosotros con el cuidado de la vaca, que nos beneficia a nosotros, y que nosotros, algunos ejemplos que él dio de, por ejemplo, poner estiércol en la tierra para tener alimentos con mucha más salud y enfermarnos menos, nos parecen muy lejanos. Entonces yo decía, si como también habló de ahimsa, de la no violencia, si eso podría ser otra forma que nos podemos conectar, o si hay una relación entre la no violencia y, digamos, y el cuidado de las vacas.
If I understood, because it was kind of breaking up as you were speaking in English, your question has to do with the practicality of cow care, the application of ahimsa in the realities of today's world, something like that.
The aggression and the results correlation with aggression in society, no? Yes, basically, but especially in relationship, I mean, in society in general, but in relationship with aggression, with, wars and aggression that exist. So.
Yeah, the reference is made. I don't know if it can be affirmed that Leo Tolstoy, the Russian 19th century novelist, author, said, as long as there are slaughterhouses, there will be battlefields.
No sabemos si podemos afirmar que eso es verdad, pero sabemos que Leo Tolstoy dijo que tan luego hagan matadores de vacas, ah, eh, tan luego estos existan, vamos a siempre a estar en los campos de batalla, ¿no? Habrán guerras.
I don't think he specified la vacas, but just slaughterhouses in general, killing animals systematically.
No creo que él especificó las vacas, pero los matadores en general matando animales.
Yeah. And there have been studies done by social psychologists showing correlations between violence to animals and violence to people.
También
That
hay,
is people, yeah.
también hay estudios de psicológicos sobre la violencia que los seres humanos practican contra los animales y la correlación de esta violencia con la práctica de violencia contra otros seres humanos.
Mm. And this was an argument, I believe Thomas Aquinas already made this argument, if not him, at least Immanuel Kant, that, yes.
Creo que ese argumento fue hecho por Tomás de Aquines y también, si no fue él, quizá Immanuel Kant.
That we should not be violent to animals unnecessarily because it will affect our own behavior, our own attitudes in relation to human beings, something like that.
Que no debemos de ser desnecesariamente violentos en contra de los animales porque eso puede afectar nuestro comportamiento y nuestro funcionamiento como seres humanos. Algo así.
There is nothing on the Shastras for that.
I don't know if something's explicit, but you can say it's implicit, it's understood. Again, human beings are distinguished from animals by what? By dharma.
Podemos entender que los seres humanos están distintos de los animales por la cuestión del dharma.
And so the lack of dharma, by not following dharma, which according to Bhishma, the highest dharma is ahimsa, nonviolence. Then what? Then we become equated or equal to animals.
Si no seguimos el Dharma, como Bhishmadeva habló del principio de ahimsa, entonces nos volvemos iguales a los o al mismo nivel de los animales.
Where the law of the jungle prevails, or in the Sanskrit tradition, Matsya Nyaya, the rule of the fish.
Donde la ley de lo más fuerte prevalece, o sea, Matsya Nyaya, la ley del pez.
The fish, the big fish, eats the smaller fish, and the smaller fish eats a smaller fish, and the bigger fish is eaten by a yet bigger fish.
Donde el pez más grande come el pez menor, que por su vez come el pez menor, y el pez más grande es comido por un pez todavía más grande que él.
And therefore, by the way, it's so much stressed that it's the responsibility of the king to establish and maintain Dharma.
Por eso es muy enfatizado que es la responsabilidad del rey de mantener el Dharma.
That human society minus king equals animal society. Human society with a dharmic king makes for dharmic society.
Entonces la sociedad humana sin un rey es igual a una sociedad animalesca, y una sociedad con un rey es igual a una sociedad dármica.
Con un rey dármico.
Con un rey dármico, sí, gracias.
Igual a una sociedad dármica. Shane, very nice, thank you so much. Ahí a Radha Madhava tiene una pregunta.
Thank you very much for your time.
Gracias por su tiempo.
And my question actually is more like I want to find out during your studies, ethical and the values.
Yo quiero en realidad saber acerca de sus estudios de ética y valores.
In our society, if you found it in a model, we can follow it. And the West, or even in the West, if you found it any model who does practice ahimsa.
Si en nuestra sociedad, mismo en el oeste, si usted ha encontrado un modelo donde podemos practicar el ahimsa.
Because actually in our community, Hare Krishna community, they only produce milk in a small quantity.
Porque en nuestras comunidades Hare Krishna, la leche que es producida de forma ahimsa es solamente en porciones muy pequeñas.
Because we, just realize that, the other models who does really exploit the cows, they do in a way which hurts, their growing and their life.
Porque los otros modelos están exploitando las vacas y lastimándolas, y están haciendo eso de una forma constante, ¿no?
And so I want to find out if you, in your studies, you visit any place where we can kind of have a model to follow and have more available, healthy, and more dairy products available for the community who does eat, cow. How you say?
Dairy products.
Dairy products.
Dairy. Yes.
Entonces me gustaría saber si en su pesquisa, en su investigación, usted encontró algún lugar donde podemos tener como recurso o como ejemplo para los que todavía se alimentan con productos de la leche, derivados de la leche. Gracias.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's a good question, and it's a major concern. We're doing a lot of talk about these things, but who is actually doing it? That's a good question.
Ese es un problema que estamos siempre pensando. Es una pregunta muy buena. ¿Quién está en realidad haciendo encargado de todo eso?
Regarding what we may want to call ahimsa milk, there is an organization in England called Ahimsa Foundation.
Con relación a la leche ahimsa, lo que llamamos de ahimsa milk o leche ahimsa, hay una organización en la Inglaterra que se llama Fundación Ahimsa.
And this is still in very early stages, and it's small scale. They have some 15 milking cows at present.
Es una producción muy pequeña con apenas 15 vacas que producen leche presentemente.
But they have a system of making their milk available to persons who become members of their foundation.
Pero tienen un sistema de hacer su leche disponible a personas que se vuelven miembros de su fundación. Miembros.
But for this to work financially, they have to charge something like 3 times the cost of milk that you would purchase in the market.
Pero para que eso sea posible y productivo, ellos necesitan cobrar probablemente 3 veces más de lo que la leche que está disponible en el mercado.
But they have no lack of customers.
Pero no tienen falta de consumidores. Hay muchos.
No tienen falta de, what do you say?
Clientes.
Clientes.
Clientes. They have, in fact, they have a waiting list. They told me they have 1,000 people on the waiting list.
Tienen 1,000 personas en su lista de espera.
Mm-hmm. This is an interesting project because I think because they are cooperating with one farmer, a grains farmer.
Ese es un proyecto interesante porque ellos están cooperando con un fazendero que produce granos.
The farmer is providing them the fields for their cows and also providing them the barn for them, for the cows to stay in, and the milking parlor and so much facility.
Y esa hacienda está proporcionando a ellos los campos de pastaje para las vacas y el espacio.
Y el lugar, el barn, el lugar para tener las vacas y también para sacarle la leche a las vacas. Están dando todo eso, el alimento para las vacas también.
Yeah, and the farmer gets the benefit of the cow dung and the cow urine on his fields.
Y el fazendero recibe el beneficio de la orina de la vaca y el excremento de la vaca en su campo como adobo.
Yeah. This is still a very small project, but it's a model. It can be expanded. It could be followed by others.
Es un proyecto todavía muy pequeño, pero es un modelo que puede servir de ejemplo para otros que desean seguir.
But there's still much to be learned about sustainable economics with GoSeva.
Hay mucho para aprender acerca de agricultura sostenible y economía sostenible con GoSeva.
And there seems to be very, very little in the way of examples for the engagement of bulls or oxen.
Y aparentemente hay muy poco para la utilización de toros en el arado de la tierra o en otras cosas.
It's in Hungary, we have this project called New Vrajadam, and there I think they are working most in a most focused way on developing all aspects of cow care in a sustainable way.
En Hungría hay un proyecto que se llama New Vrajadam, Nueva Vrajadam, y aparentemente están trabajando de una forma muy más enfocada en desarrollar este proyecto de todas las formas posibles.
So, but time will tell how well these projects demonstrate the reality that it can be followed by others.
Pero el tiempo va a decir cómo esos proyectos se desarrollan y cómo las personas se pueden estar ahí engalladas, ¿no?
I just received a letter, an email from one devotee lady in Australia a few days ago.
Yo acabo de recibir una carta de una señora en Australia pocos días atrás.
Who is very eager to pursue research specifically on engagement of bulls and oxen. And she says, money is no object. She has some resources, some people who want to invest in this.
Ella está muy entusiasmada en hacer investigaciones en cómo mejorar la producción y incrementar la producción y la utilización de vacas y toros. Y ella dijo que dinero no es un problema. Ella tiene investigadores que están muy interesados en su proyecto.
Más que nada fue en toros, no en vacas, sino los toros y los oxen que no están utilizados. Investigando eso. No, está bien. Te corrijo un poquito para que se entienda.
Claro, por favor.
In Australia, they have also, they get the cows from the milking neighbors' cows, and they take care of when they don't produce more milks. So they have like a nursery for cows that don't give milk because they need to be taken care of. In Australia, they have a good project on that. So there is Daksha Kanya, Kirtida, Radha Madhava, and Shivan Mukta, Shamuna Shivanand, with all questions. How are you doing with time? Krishna Kshetra Prabhu.
Dejo espacios para los que no preguntaron.
Okay, he said he gives space for others, but you tell us what's your time, and Daksha's there, and Radha Madhava then.
Yes, if you have time, I guess we can go another 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we always have time for you, Krishna Kshetra. So it's a very rare, special event for us, so we can give the time. So, Daksha, ¿quieres preguntar? Or Radha Madhava, your question and follow up your previous part.
Exactly.
Okay, so finish yours, yes, and then Radha, Daksha, and then Kirtan.
Yeah, I want to find out more because recently I have a friend who just turned her farm into a ahimsa.
Yo quiero saber más porque tengo una amiga que recientemente transformó su hacienda en ahimsa, una hacienda ahimsa.
And she's here actually on the meeting as well.
Y está aquí en esta reunión.
Oh, and her question is,
Se llama iPhone 61, Paola.
so her question is how these ahimsa forms do with exactly with the bulls, with the you're already trying to explain.
Entonces, la pregunta de ella es exactamente qué es que estas haciendas ahimsa hacen con los toros, como usted estaba explicando.
And because
Yeah, the thing is,
the economy, the Brazilian economy, in around the, the dairy products, it's the value, it's really low. So to maintain a farm with cows without sending, the bulls to slaughterhouse, basically they don't have income to maintain it. So that's her concern.
yeah.
Básicamente, la economía de Brasil, de acuerdo con la economía de allá, la leche, el valor de la leche es muy bajo. Entonces, no tienen qué hacer con los toros, además de enviarlos a los matadoros. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I was saying, this is the challenge.
Ese es el desafío, como estaba hablando.
And unless one has a plan, if you're starting a ahimsa farm, you really need to have a plan in advance how you're going to maintain all of the cows and bulls.
Hay que tener un plan previo de cómo va a mantener todas las vacas y los toros si está planeando hacer una hacienda ahimsa.
So you may have a priority of producing milk.
Quizá tiene usted una prioridad de producir leche.
However, if you're going to maintain that, you have to factor in what are going to be the costs for maintaining also the bulls.
Pero si vas a hacer eso, hay que calcular cuál va a ser el costo de mantener también los toros.
So theoretically, it should be possible to balance out by engaging the bulls in work. That's the theory.
Teóricamente, debería de hacer un equilibrio a través de ocupar los toros también en trabajo, teóricamente.
Yes, theoretically. And that's what needs to be better understood, how it really works. Factoring in all of the factors involved.
Entonces, hay que calcular todos los factores involucrados en este proceso.
For example, you may say, okay, we're going to engage the bulls in, we will rig them up onto an electricity generating machine, and they're going to generate electricity.
Puede pensar, por ejemplo, que puede conectar los toros con un generador de electricidad y así los toros con su caminar van a generar electricidad y eso sería una forma de utilizarlos.
So that sounds very nice. So now, but we have to see the person who then tends those oxen who are going around in the circle. Someone has to keep them going. That person, how is that person being maintained? How are his living expenses covered? And are his living expenses covered by the electricity produced by the bulls?
Entonces, hay que tener una persona que va a domar los toros, y además de domarlos, va a mantenerlos caminando en círculos. Entonces, esta persona necesita también tener sus necesidades suplidas. Entonces, la electricidad producida por los toros es suficiente para suplir las necesidades económicas de esta persona para que ella reciba su pago.
Anyway, these are the issues.
Entonces, esos son los problemas.
Acá Jorge, no sé si está presente, pero puso que de todas formas, from all, anyway, the cows are not producing milk by themselves. They have to be mothers first. And then to do that, they usually violate them and they exploit them. And that's also not ahimsa. So I don't know, Jorge, still around, but this is also a comment on the chat.
Sí, entonces, de todas formas, para que una vaca dé leche, porque no existen las vacas lecheras, primero tiene que ser madre, y para llegar a eso, usualmente las violan, oprimen y explotan, y eso va contra la ahimsa.
Yeah, so this is a point which is brought up especially by those who are promoting vegan lifestyle.
Entonces, eso es un punto que ha sido discutido principalmente entre los que promueven el estilo de vida vegano.
And I think we can make a couple of points. One is we may say that this is not ahimsa, but what do we mean by ahimsa? I think we have to say that ahimsa means not absolute nonviolence, but rather avoidance of violence as far as possible.
Entonces, podemos definir ahimsa como, primero, avoidance. Avoidance.
Evitar.
Evitar el sufrimiento de los animales lo más que podamos, ¿no?
And the avoidance of ahimsa, the avoidance of violence, minimizing violence, is something which only comes within a culture in which it's understood the cow is valued. Well, in the tradition, she is understood to be mother.
Y minimizar la violencia en contra de las vacas o de los animales apenas puede, ese concepto apenas puede estar presente en una cultura donde hay el cuidado de las vacas, donde las personas ven las vacas como la madre, su madre.
But also, as soon as there is commercialization of the milk, this is where immediately there is danger of exploitation.
Pero tan luego haga la comercialización de la leche, inmediatamente hay la posibilidad de explotación.
But that's a bigger subject. Maybe we should end with a question from Daksha Kanya.
Pero ese es otro asunto más complejo. Quizá podemos encerrar con la pregunta de Daksha.
Jai Maharaj, my obeisances, thank you so much for this time. I am so happy, and at the same time, I am nervous or I feel sad, igual voy a hablar en español porque no voy a poder decir todo, ¿qué hacer mientras? En mi caso, hace mucho tiempo que cocino para personas no vegetarianas y siento que inspiro mucho a las personas a hacerse vegetarianas. Pero
porque hay que traducir,
In my case, I cook for people who are non-vegetarian, and I feel very inspired to cook for them. Yes.
Sí.
No very inspired. Siento que inspiro a otras personas a volverse vegetarianas, no que me inspiro por eso. Yeah.
I feel that I inspire other people to become vegetarian.
So
Pero
she finds a little bit of contrast, ¿no?
con el ghee, con el panir, con vegan products, o solo. Yo también cada vez que se toca este tema me siento súper triste. Entonces
Sí,
debería solo hacer cosas veganas o mientras llegamos a esa...
Sí.
Sorry, I am
in this contrast. She feels in this contrast because she, in one sense, feels that people are becoming vegetarian because of the ghee and the butter, but at the same time, she feels like this dichotomy in what she can do in the meantime. Because she doesn't cook just for vegans, she has vegan products, but she feels because she can with good flavors and so on and so forth, but she's always broken inside for that.
At the same time, en el mismo momento, siento, y quizás sea una recontra especulación, que por lo menos esa leche sacada de una manera no tan buena a las vacas, Krishna da alguna bendición para esas almas en forma de vacas que hacen un servicio, pero quizás es una especulación mía y debería dejar de pensar así.
She thinks that maybe it's an speculation, but she thinks that the cows, that she offers the milk to Krishna, the cows, even those who are taking the milk not in such a good way, they get some benefit, and she thinks maybe that's a speculation, so she's trying to...
Mientras tanto, lleguemos a esa cosa linda de solo tener leche de vacas cuidadas en el mundo. Vivimos en Argentina.
In the meantime, you know, while we wait until we get milk from those cows who are well taken care of and so on, so what to do in the meantime.
Yeah, well, it is a compromise. And I think the problem with saying, well, the cows are benefited because we offer the milk to Krishna, the problem with that is that we become complacent and think, so therefore we'll just go on taking the milk from the cows that are in the dairy industry and that are going to be, eventually they're going to be slaughtered.
El problema de la justificación de que estamos ofreciendo todos esos productos de las vacas a Krishna y por lo tanto las vacas se están beneficiando, es que nos volvemos complacientes y mientras la industria sigue y las vacas eventualmente van a ser sacrificadas en un matadero.
So it's good you're attracting people to vegetarian diet, and it's good if you can attract them further to giving up.
Es bueno que está atrayendo a las personas a ser vegetarianas y también es muy bueno que ellas puedan ir además de eso.
It's good if you can then attract them to the next step, I think, of minimizing and giving up dairy from the dairy industry. But that's a challenge for all of us, I would say.
Y es muy bueno que si puedes atraer las personas a tomar todavía un paso a más y se y dejar de utilizar los productos de la industria láctea y no utilizar ese producto, pero eso es un desafío para todos nosotros.
And on that note, it's a big topic. And as I said, hopefully we'll have this book available, hopefully sooner rather than later, in the beautiful Español, lingua español, and then we could have a further discussion on this.
Esperamos que tengamos este libro listo muy pronto y podemos tener una discusión más aprofundada acerca de ese tema.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much for your kind time and energy to deal with us and our difficulties with the translations and so on, technical difficulties and so on. Krishna Shakti wants to say something.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your patience. I just want to let you know that Palaka is here in this meeting, and he is a chef in he has a vegan restaurant in San Luis Obispo. So please go visit him. He and his wife are responsible for teaching me how to eat healthy and without consuming dairy products. Acabo de decir a Maharaj que nuestro hermano Palaka está en esta reunión y es un chef de un restaurante en San Luis Obispo, que es su restaurante, y él y su esposa me enseñaron a volver vegana y a alimentarme de forma saludable sin depender de los productos de lácteos que están en la industria láctea. Muchas gracias.
Very, very nice. I must make a plan. San Luis Obispo is quite some distance from where I live. But who knows?
It's worth it.
Maybe
You've
I
been
can
close.
come visit.
You were close by for many years, so you know it's not too far from Santa Barbara. So.
a few decades ago.
Thank you again for your time. I
Well,
know that
thank you for the opportunity, Gandhini Mataji. And all the best for your program. It's very nice that you're doing.
Lo esperamos en Argentina muy ansiosamente. Sé que dijo que tal vez podría. We wait for you next year in Argentina. You say you may be coming, so we're looking forward to
hopefully.
Your personal association. Thank you. Pueden abrirse los micrófonos, saludarlos si quieren todos.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Gurudeva.
Thank you.
Hare
Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Reverencias. Muchas gracias.
Quería decir que Krishna Shakti, y gracias por traducir, porque Krishna Shakti habla portugués y tiene que traducir del inglés al español, es muy difícil, pero justo Daitieya no pudo usar su micrófono quedó bloqueado por alguna razón, así que bueno, gracias a todos los presentes por su paciencia.
Yo me enfermé de mi digestión y mi cerebro no funcionaba, entonces estuvo peor que de costumbre, lo siento. Ha habido mil disculpas a todos los participantes, traté de hacer lo que podía, pero estoy aquí nomás porque Daitesha no puede estar.
Si no hubieras estado tú, no hubiéramos tenido nada, así que